Hey y'all, Beasley here. Welcome back to the channel. This episode has been over a year in the making. This is the story of how I began vintage baseball collecting. We're here at the Riverside studio, just 2 blocks from my apartment. This is a 1929 Bruce Goff designed music studio, a recital hall, and a residence. As I've mentioned on previous episodes, I am a member of the board of directors. Don't worry, we're going to look at some Tulsa baseball memorabilia soon, but let's continue this conversation inside. We are now inside the auditorium known as Tulsa Spotlight Theater, home of the drunkard. We provide a historic stage for many local performing artists. While we do performing arts very well, I'm always trying to think of new ways to utilize this space, including visual arts and historic exhibitions. As we approach the building's 100th birthday in 2029, I have thought about highlighting other things going on in Tulsa in 1929. Being a Tulsa Drillers fan and a collector of historic Tulsa ephemera and memorabilia, the 1929 Tulsa Oilers baseball team quickly came to mind. I spent many hours researching this team online at Tulsa's Central Library, newspapers.com, etc., and then began the search for items related to these players. And while that search continues, I think I have enough to start thinking about how to best display these items, getting frames, getting the placards made to describe each of those items. So let's take a look at where the collection stands as of now, as we look at the team, the stadium, and some of the players. Meet the 1929 Western League champion Tulsa Oilers. With an overall record of 95 and 66, there were players that dominated both offensively and defensively. Pitching was led by Raleigh Stiles with 22 wins to his 11 losses. Roy Ketchum was 16 and 8. Joe Ogrodowski was 15 and 5 as a starting pitcher. The team batting average was .309 with 202 combined home runs on the season. Led by catcher Herbert Doc Smith with a .373 batting average, 9 Oilers hit more than 300 for the season. This team was managed by former Cincinnati Reds shortstop Marty Berghammer, who came to Tulsa as a player manager in 1925 and managed the team until midway through the 1929 season when he moved to the Milwaukee Brewers, replacing their manager who departed due to health reasons. Berghammer was replaced by St. Paul Saints manager Nick Allen. Allen did not make it to the end of the season either, and we'll talk more about that shortly. The stadium was at McNulty Park at 10th and Elgin in downtown Tulsa. 1929 was the last season at McNulty Park, as it was demolished at the end of the year, replaced by the iconic Art Deco Warehouse Market building. Certainly one of the highlights of that 1929 season was when the New York Yankees came to town for an exhibition game on April 8th of 1929. The Tulsa Oilers defeated the Yankees 12-9, hitting home runs Jack Burns, Joe Munson, Lynn Storty, and Doc Smith. Lou Gehrig was 1 of 3 on the day. Babe Ruth, 2 of 4 at the plate. 2 days later, Tulsa hosted their parent team, the St. Louis Brown, playing games both on April 10th and April 11th. The Oilers lost both of those games. On April 11th, George Blayholder was the starting pitcher for the Browns. Blayholder was a starting pitcher for the Tulsa Oilers from 1924 to 1927. He won 27 games in 1926 and won 26 games for the league champion 1927 Tulsa baseball team. Baseball Digest and the Sporting News credit Blayholder with developing the slider. He married Tulsa Vera Chamber at the end of the 1927 season. George Blayholder and his 1933 Gouty and 1930s Diamond Matchbook covers. Let's take a look at the 1929 Tulsa Oilers collection. We'll look at the players starting in alphabetical order. First is the first baseman, Irving Jack Burns. Burns played in all 161 games of the Tulsa Oilers' 1929 championship season. He had 210 hits in those 161 games, hitting 36 home runs. Jack was called up to the St. Louis Browns the following season and played for the Browns through 1936. For Jack Burns, I have this business card from baseball card collector and dealer Frank Nagy. I had this one blown up into a larger photo so that it can be displayed in a 5x7 frame. And again, a 1930s Diamond Matchbook cover. Number 10 in the team photo is 21-year-old pitcher Bob Cooney, who earned an 11-5 record for the 1929 Oilers and pitched in 28 games for the St. Louis Browns over the 1931 and 32 seasons. For Bob Cooney, I have this postcard. Many of these players did not have traditional baseball cards, and these postcards are a great way to represent those players. On the end of the middle row is Leonard Dondero, a utility infielder, primarily playing at third base for Tulsa. He had hit .373 in 1928 before being called up to the Browns early in the 1929 season, then sent back to Tulsa in August. 1931 found Dondero in the Pacific Coast League, playing in Oakland and Portland. This is Dondero's 1931 Z-Nut card from his playing days in Oakland. A small card. This is another that I will have scanned, blown up, and printed for display, along with his signature card. Not pictured on the team photo, Ted Gullett spent 26 years in professional baseball as a player and manager. Ted hit 32 home runs for the Western League champion Tulsa Oilers of 1929. He bounced between the minor and major leagues from 1927 until World War II. After the war, he managed minor league clubs, including 2 seasons in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, with the Bartlesville Pirates of the Class D Kansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri League. Second on this team photo, outfielder Chuck Hostetler played in 300 games for Tulsa between the 1929, 33, and 34 seasons. Born in 1903, Chuck made his major league debut for the Detroit Tigers in April of 1944 at the age of 40 due to the player shortages caused by World War II. And Hostetler won a World Series championship in 1945. I love this newspaper cartoon of Chuck Hostetler, highlighting the 40-year-old rookie. It adds to the diversity of the items in this collection. 2 places down from Chuck Hostetler, Roy Ketchum. I don't have anything specific for Roy Ketchum yet. I hope to have something before I open the exhibit. Roy was born in Indian Territory in 1902, about 50 miles north of Tulsa. He played in Class C ball for Springfield, Missouri, winning 20 games in 1926 at the age of 18. He made his way up to Tulsa in 1929, posting a 16-8 record for the league champs. He played professional baseball for only 5 years and never at the major league level. Oklahoman Roy Ketchum. Numbered 3 in the team photo, multi-sport professional athlete Jim Levy played third base for the St. Louis Browns baseball team from 1930 to 1933 and played halfback for the NFL's Pittsburgh Pirates football team from 1934 to 1936. Jim played baseball for Tulsa in 1929 and 1936, retiring from baseball in 1945 after appearing in 1,699 games. Another postcard, Jim Levy. Moving down to number 17. After winning the 1925 New York-Pennsylvania League Triple Crown with a .400 batting average, 33 home runs, 129 RBIs, 188 hits in 131 games, Joe Munson played for the Chicago Cubs in 1926 before finding himself in Tulsa in 1927, playing on 3 Western League championship teams. The 1928 Western League batting champion, he batted .379 in his 3 seasons with Tulsa. Joe Munson was also a sketch artist. At the top of the team photo, starting pitcher Joe Ogrodowski. He was a major contributor to the Western League champion 1929 Tulsa Oilers, posting a 15-5 record and hitting .324. Joe has a unique distinction of having his very first professional game be his major league debut. At the age of 18, Ogrodowski pitched 1 inning for the 1925 Boston Braves after giving up 6 runs, earning an ERA of 54. He never saw the major leagues again and retired after 6 seasons of minor league baseball. Another picture postcard. My favorite player from this 1929 Tulsa team is catcher Herbert Doc Smith, numbered 14 on the team photo. Born on May 4th, 1897 in Angier, North Carolina, Doc debuted in Tulsa by hitting a home run in the exhibition game against the New York Yankees on April 8th of 1929. He went on to lead the team with a .373 batting average, earned 148 hits in 117 games, and was named the Western League batting champion for 1929. At 32 years old and in his 10th season of professional baseball, he was a decade older than many of his teammates. Doc was the captain of the team. He was a mentor to the young pitchers and often acted as an on-field manager from his catching position. Late in the season, oil was discovered on manager Nick Allen's Kansas property, and Allen quit the team. Without a skipper for the final series against Oklahoma City, ownership tapped Doc Smith to take the role as player manager. Doc guided the team through the final series and the playoffs and then to the 1929 Western League Championship. After the season, Smith was recruited as a player manager for the 1930 Muskogee Chiefs, where he continued to dominate pitchers, hitting an incredible .384. After 14 years of minor league baseball, Doc Smith retired to the farm in his native North Carolina and managed the local semi-pro team, the New Bern Bears. This is the 1927 game-used bat from Doc Smith's time with the Class A Fort Worth Panthers. Frank Ragland and Don Songer. I like these old photographs, and here are 2 of my favorites from the 1929 Tulsa Oilers pitching staff. Frank Ragland went on to pitch for the Washington Nationals and Philadelphia Phillies. Don Songer was a 30-game winner and led the 1922 Enid, Oklahoma Harvesters to a record of 105 wins and 27 losses, an all-time record of 80% winning percentage. Songer posted a 31-4 record, pitching in 336 innings for Enid. He went on to play for the Pittsburgh Pirates alongside the Wayner brothers of Hera, Oklahoma. After struggling in the majors, including leading the league in hits batsmen, in 1929 he was traded to the St. Louis Browns and assigned to the Tulsa Oilers. 1929 was Don Songer's last year in professional baseball. Lucky number 13 in the team photo. Born in the Ozarks of northwest Arkansas in 1907, Roland Raleigh Stiles, also known as Lena Stiles, played college ball at Southeast Oklahoma State College in Durant, Oklahoma. Raleigh came to Tulsa in 1928 from the Class C Muskogee Chiefs. He led all Oiler pitchers in 1929 with a 22-11 record, striking out 103 batters. Raleigh threw a no-hitter against Des Moines in June of 1929. He pitched in the National League for the Browns from 1930 to 1933. When Stiles passed in 2008, at the age of 100, he was the last living person to have pitched to Babe Ruth in a major league game. Another informational card. I also have this 1929 Des Moines newspaper where the Oilers versus Demon games was the headline in the sports section. Right at the top, it immediately mentions Lena Stiles, notes him as the Muskogee Toothpick. We talked about how he had played for the Muskogee Chiefs. And finally, number 8, infielder Lynn Storty, who played along Raleigh Stiles with the Muskogee Chiefs in 1928, with the Tulsa Oilers in 1929, and with the St. Louis Browns in 1930. He played at second base in all 161 games of the 1929 season for Tulsa, getting 230 hits, blasting 28 home runs with a .341 batting average. Len played 19 seasons of professional baseball, retiring in 1945. I found lots of interesting items for Lynn Storty. I got a couple of these signed newspaper photos. A signed postcard. I got this 1972 TCMA card enlarged so that it could fit into a frame for display. Another diamond matchbook cover. And there it is, the 1929 Tulsa Baseball Oilers collection as of August 2025. I will continue to search for more archival material. I have a couple of custom pieces to have made. I hope to have this exhibit complete and on display here at Riverside Studio in April of 2026. Ultimately, I would love to have some of these pieces on display at One Oak Field in 2029, the 100th anniversary of this Western League champion Tulsa Oilers baseball team. Again, this project was inspired by this building. Completed in 1929, this theater is home to The Drunkard, a temperance melodrama. The Drunkard is performed every Saturday night and has been since November of 1953. 71 years makes it the longest continuously running theatrical production in North America. If you are in Tulsa, the Tulsa area, or visiting Tulsa, come see a show at this historic venue. Follow this channel for more updates, and thank you for watching. See you soon.